So I've really been craving tacos lately.
So we set on a quest to find the perfect taco.
The mission is simple. Go to the south side of Milwaukee and eat tacos.
And rate them on a scale from 1 to 10 to find the best taco.
Hit it!
Taco, 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 taco. Tuesday.
Our first stop on this journey of taco exploration was Taqueria El Toro.
This was the first place we went on our taco eating journey, so we did rate it a little bit differently than we did the other ones. We decided to rate this place as a whole instead of as each individual taco like we do in the future, so that's just something to keep in mind.
Of course, because this was an early entry in our visits for Taco Tuesday, we didn't get a lot of footage. However, we do have plenty of photos to show you guys our enjoyment of this food.
So I got 3 asada. That's my control. Generally, but this one was pretty good. A little dry, and it was hard to eat at times because it was so dry.
The seasoning was genuinely one of the most phenomenal that I think we tried throughout the entire journey. But overall, the actual moistness of the meat and the tortilla were kind of not what I would prefer and what I would like for it.
I stand by the fact that that was probably the best pork out of most of them. If not top 2, top 3.
And the final scores for Taqueria El Toro are me with an 8, Nick with an 8.1, Jose with a 7.8, and Jacob with an 8.5, rounding out to an average score of an 8.1.
Our second stop was El Cabrito, which to me, my control, carne asada, I thought it was one of the best ones. Starting with the, just tortilla was fine. The actual meat though, I feel like was one of the most flavorful, and it was juicy, at least my plate was, unlike Jacob's.
The chicken here was by far the best chicken I've ever had in my whole life. It was tender, it was juicy, it was seasoned amazing. The pieces were nice and big. It wasn't like little chunks of meat. It was moist, which for me is good in a taco. I like them if they have a little more juices, especially if it's dripping out of the taco. That makes the best taco.
And then the birria, I gave a 9 out of 10 because it was simply amazing. Just the cusamel is awesome, like the best part. Like you could dip any taco in it and make it infinitely better.
The price for these tacos were around $2.75, which is pretty on par for most of the taco places that we went to, but it certainly did not disappoint. The chicken there, like Jenna had said, was absolutely phenomenal. The most tender, juicy, ushy-gushy chicken I've ever had in my mouth. It was amazing.
So the final scores for El Cabrito are me, chicken, 10 out of 10. Carnitas was a 7 out of 10. Nick gave it an 8.8. Jose gave the birria a 10 out of 10 and the asada an 8.4. And Jacob gave the birria a 9 out of 10 and the asada a 7.5, giving it an average score of an 8.6. El Señoral was a suggestion that one of my friends gave me, and man, am I happy that she gave it. The vibes in this place were immaculate, unlike any other place that we went to.
One thing I'm gonna say about El Señoral is that shit was expensive. Priced at about $2.95, it was one of the most expensive tacos that we could have gotten. And because of that fact, it might have soured my taste a little bit. The meat was still amazing, don't get me wrong. The taco shells were soft, they didn't fall apart, and they really captured in all the juices really well.
I think their strongest point wasn't their meat, wasn't their seasoning, it was actually their tortillas. Their tortillas were very well put together. They were, despite the juiciness of the meat and despite everything else, it held itself really well. It tasted really good. There was a certain texture it had that was different from other places. And also the salsa in itself was very different from most other restaurants we tried. It had a very strong lime flavor or a very strong acidy flavor, which I enjoyed.
I was just coming off the highs of El Cabrito, so I was really hoping that this chicken would hit as hard as El Cabrito's did. And unfortunately, it didn't quite hit the bar, but it was still pretty good. It had the right amount of juices in it that made for the perfect taco. And the final scores for El Señoral are, I gave the chicken an 8.5 and the El Pastor a 7.5. Nick gave it an 8.5, Jose gave it an 8.5, and Jacob gave it an 8.5 for an average score of an 8.3. It is at this point in the taco eating journey that I decided that I'm gonna start working on Tuesdays. This did kind of throw a wrench in our taco eating plans, but we didn't let that stop us. So from now on, you might see a couple faces missing and some new ones added, but don't let that take away from your overall viewing experience. For Los Camales, we had a little bit of a different crew. It was me, Jacob, Hannah, Michaela, and Owen.
Priced at $2.69, this was one of the most interesting prices for the tacos we've had so far.
The meat was dry basically, and I think that a time was a factor here because we came kind of late, and that could have affected how fresh the meat was. I felt like the meat kind of was already cooked and kind of just sitting there, and they just kind of threw it on the grill really quick.
I remember being upset about getting the chicken taco instead of 2 steak tacos because the steak I think was wetter than the chicken.
I was a little disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. I got 2 steak tacos. Just a little dry. It was pretty good, nothing outstanding. So I gave it a 7 out of 10.
All 3 of mine personally broke. They were double tortilla and they still broke. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe that was just my experience. Maybe I was holding it wrong. I don't know.
And the final scores for Los Camales are, I gave the El Pastor 7 and the chicken a 6, Hannah gave it a 6.5, Jacob gave it a 7, Michaela gave it a 7, and Owen gave it a 7, for an overall score of a 6.9.
And now we reach the taco truck portion of this video. Now, like the taco truck, we're gonna speed run this, but important to note, all these taco trucks can be found on Cesar Chavez Drive.
Now for our taco truck adventure, we did have another member of the crew with us, Callian. He unfortunately was unable to make it today, but we'll still include his scores at the end. For all the taco trucks, I decided to get a chicken taco from each one, and Cielito Lindo did not disappoint. This was definitely one of the best, if not the best, chicken taco I had of the night. This taco truck's prices were actually not on the menu, which I thought was a little weird, but when we finally got to the receipt, we found out that the prices were $2.75, which is pretty on par with all the other places we got.
So my theory is that taco trucks generally have the best tacos. Guelaguetza could be a thorn in that theory because when we went there, first of all, $3 a taco. And not to mention that these were really small tacos. I found like hard pieces of like, I don't even know what, I don't know if it's bone or meat. I found that in my taco, and as soon as I found that, I'm like, it ain't it. The flavor wasn't there, it was just dry, I didn't like it.
In this taco truck adventure for the night, we ran into a lot of mid, some good, but above it all, for me, El Paisa stood on the top of the mountain, having the most beautiful, similar tortillas to El Señoral, beautiful flavor, beautiful juice. I will say.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yes, maybe everyone else thought the tacos at this place were amazing, but the chicken was absolute dog crap. It was hard, it was gross, it was seasoned awfully. I didn't even finish the taco. So if you go to this truck, do not get the chicken, no matter what. Do not get it.
This was the last taco truck of the night. This one was still pretty good. Not as great as the one before it, but it was still pretty good, except overall, I feel like the taco trucks did not get enough limes out. So therefore, on this one, I had to use like 1 lime for like 2 tacos and all that kind of stuff. On the menu, the price said $2.25, but they had crossed it out and now it's $2.50, but that was like wrote on the side of that. So I guess inflation.
Now the final scores for the 4 taco trucks we went on this night were Cielito with a 8.56, Guelaguetza with a 5.86, El Pasita with a 7.66, and El Cabrosito with an 8. So we went to this taco truck on a different night than the original 4. So for this truck, it was just me, Jacob, and Nick. So it created a more smaller crew for this one.
Taco El Charro. Put simply, this is the best one across the board. No matter if it is a sit-down place, no matter if it is from the side of a truck when it is 20 degrees outside, this place has the best al pastor, the best chorizo, the best tortilla, okay?
These tacos were $2.75, which I felt was a very fair price for these tacos. I really liked how these tacos were individually wrapped on these nice styrofoam platters, so we didn't have to fuss around with trying to pass around different sets of little tinfoil packages because one had one taco and one had the other.
And so the interesting thing about this is they gave you grilled onions, and that to me, amazing. Like grilled cut up onions that you could put on your tacos and made the whole taco experience better. Because when I first tried my taco, I think it was it needed something. And the grilled onion and salsa mixture made it delicious.
And the final scores for Taco El Charro are: Nick gave the El Pastor and the chorizo a 10, the asada an 8.7, and the chicken an 8.2. I gave the chicken an 8.5 and the El Pastor an 8, and Jacob gave everything a 9. Now for Bel Air, we had a slightly different crew. It was me, Jacob, Jose, Hannah, and Michaela.
So we decided to switch it up and we went to the east side to try some tacos, which generally isn't a good sign if you're looking for good tacos. And you know what? I was right. We went to Bel Air. Places were really expensive. If you're planning to ball out on a budget, I would suggest going here. Not really though, because the tacos weren't that good.
Bel Air had a crazy menu. Hannah got some Dorito taco thing. There was like a ninja pig thing that you could order. And then Jenna got one with like a whole fried avocado, which she's never had before. And then I also got a $12 non-alcoholic drink.
All the tacos I had were fine. They were like cold, like they weren't like freezing, but like the meat was not warm for my tacos. Maybe it's just because some of them had like weird pico on them that were cold.
The consomme, if you like sauced it completely into the consomme, it would like make up for the dryness. But even then, their consomme was just not anything compared to El Cabrito, which just had the goat consomme from like all the places we tried.
Now the final scores for Bel Air are: I gave the chicken a 7 out of 10, the carnitas an 8 out of 10, and the avocado and bacon a 10 out of 10 as well. Hannah gave her Doritos taco a 7.5. Michaela gave her asada an 5.5. The chicken was too spicy, she unfortunately couldn't finish it. Jose gave the birria a 6 out of 10, and the asada a 6 out of 10 as well. And Jacob gave the birria a 4 out of 10, and the asada a 6 out of 10, creating an average score for Bel Air of a 7.2. And now the final scores, starting from the bottom.
Gila with 5.8.
Los Comales, 6.9.
Bel Air, 7.3.
El Paisa, 7.6.
Taqueria del Toro, 8.1.
El Señoral, 8.3.
Taco El Charro, 8.5.
And the winner of the best taco in all of Milwaukee with a score of an 8.6 is...
Taqueria El Cabrito.
You should definitely go to El Cabrito for both the chicken and the birria. It was amazing. Hope you guys enjoy.